Red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune in to the ladies in red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. We are back with another one. Love these Friday nights. We seem to, and that was just unabated, like Friday night is like Ladies in Red night now. We just seem to always book that in. But I'll get right into it. Kendall, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. How are you doing?
No, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always an absolute pleasure. But yeah, not looking forward to the weekend again, football-wise. So we're obviously going to get into that. But yeah, I'm good, thank you.
I'm glad you're doing well, and hopefully it's a bit of a brighter weekend for you Newcastle fans, and obviously we'll get into that in a minute. I'm joined by lovely Natalie as well. Nat, how are you feeling after yesterday's long journey? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, United women beat Glasgow Rangers 5-0, so that was a good seeing the girls again playing football, so I'm happy about that, and just looking forward to talking about Premier League again as well.
Yeah, love that. And obviously, like you say, the women with a great result absolutely smashed them yesterday. The men with a great result last week. I mean, Kendall, I saw for you your tweets. You're bigging up some of the United players, saying you couldn't really dislike them because we played so well. It was a good start for us, wasn't it? I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting us to be that quick off the mark.
No, really good start. Well, I watched you guys play Everton in pre-season when I was on the train to London. You looked really good, really solid. And I was like, I tweeted then saying, oh, okay, Man United looked dangerous. This was before Varane obviously signed. So like, okay, Man United looked dangerous. This is before the season. Then saw you play at the weekend and I was like, oh, I was right. You do look really dangerous. Like, you just didn't stop pressing. It was absolutely brilliant. The link-up play was fantastic. Paul Pogba was just on Paul Pogba elite level. Like, he was just insane on Saturday. He was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, if you carry on and he stays consistent and the rest of the players stay consistent. I mean, Lindelof, for example, he's probably not going to get into the squad that often now with the introduction of Varane, but he had a brilliant game against Leeds, like really, really good. So yeah, if you guys stay on form and everyone stays fit, you know, you've got Rashford to come back, Cavani's to come back. So yeah. I think he's look really strong.
There's enough to be excited about, definitely. But Southampton away, I always think it's a bit of a dodgy one for us now. I don't know how you feel about that game. Obviously, we got a bit lucky, you might say, last season with Cavani. Super sub coming on and obviously flipping the game on its head, but it's always a pretty tight game, often when we put 9 past them. But apart from that, again, when we play Southampton, I always think it's one of them games that it's always going to be a tight one. But are you buzzing after that first game, Nat? Like, do you feel confident going into it?
Yeah, I mean, Kendall sort of said it, like, watch out for Man United. For me, I sort of think the way we I know it was a bad end with the Europa League, but the way we sort of ended on that form, or the way, you know, we're winning lots of games, I thought, you know, next season it could be good for us. And then obviously they've had Sancho Varane. Southampton, it's always tough going there on away day. But for me, I mean, I know we're not going to go into scores, but I'm seeing a big scoreline again. Maybe not the 5, but, you know, I can see us getting a few goals to 0, maybe, hopefully. People might say I'm too confident and shoot me down, but no, you've got to be confident, I think, when you first started. And after the performance we had at the weekend, I'm just thinking, why not? Let's go for it. Let's you know, lay a marker down and win this league. 21, it's coming, baby.
I hope you're right. I would never shoot your optimism down. You know that I would never shoot it down. You know what? After the game that we've started, it's hard not to get sucked in and hard not to feel confident, isn't it? But like Kendall said, if we keep our key players fit, obviously got players to come back as well. Definitely a time to be excited. But in the midst of talking about all that, obviously other teams are strengthening. Lukaku has gone back to Chelsea. Obviously they've got Arsenal this weekend. Arsenal who lost to Brentford in that opening weekend as well, first game of the season. I mean, Kendall, can you see anything other than a Chelsea winning that one?
No, I think it's going to be Chelsea. Lukaku's come back. They look strong anyway. They've obviously, sorry about the little voice in the background.
It's okay, no problem.
We've got, I think Chelsea and Man City have probably got 2 of the strongest squad depths in the league anyway right now. Just based on the players and the quality that they've got in those positions. But yeah, I can't really see it being any other than a Chelsea win. Lukaku's got to come back. I think he's got to make an impression because everyone's going to be doubting him because of the time he had at Man United before. So everyone's going to be doubting him. He's got to come make a big impression. I think he will. You know, he's been on form for like 2 years now. So it's really, he's got to fit in. hopefully for Chelsea, well, not hopefully because I don't really want that, but obviously he's got to unlock Timo Werner. Otherwise, there's going to be issues again there. But yeah, I think he's going to be great.
I really do, and it scares me, to be fair. Lukaku at United didn't always get their best service, and I accept that. But let's face it, at times I think his ball playing wasn't good enough. His link-up play wasn't good enough. But he obviously went to Italy. He was on fire, like you've mentioned, for Belgium. He's been on fire as well. You can't not be afraid of the Lukaku. Obviously, like you mentioned, Kendall, as well. He's got a point to prove, especially for United fans. He's got a point to prove. He wants to obviously make a go of it at Chelsea. I worry about it. I really do. And obviously, he's got a good manager in Tuchel in charge of him. You mentioned like Werner, Havertz in and around him as well. It's a scary combination. And I think Tuchel said the other day that could be the final piece of their puzzle. Do you think that, Nat?
I think, yeah, he's a quality player. And I think everyone's sort of looking at, well, rightly so, looking at Harry Kane, how much they're going to spend, 150 million. And I think Lukaku's going to come in and get a few goals. He'll be up there with the golden boot, no doubt about it. And he'll be looking. I heard his interview. He sort of said, when I was at United, they were saying I don't score against big teams. So what a day to make your debut. Obviously, Arsenal, you could say maybe aren't a big team anymore, but I do really. No, listen.
To be fair, I think Arsenal had a couple of decent results against like the bigger teams even last season as well. Like Chelsea fans keep saying they're not confident, but yeah, I think they'll be.
When
fine.
it's a derby like that, like form goes out the window, doesn't it, I suppose. It's one of them.
But I still think Lukaku is going to he's going to come in and, want to lay his marker down really and show Premier League what he's all about. So I can see him maybe even getting a brace,
Well, if he does play, he'll be up against Ben White, obviously their new signing. I still find it mad that they've spent similar money on him than we have on Varane. I find that absolutely ridiculous, but it just sums up what the market is like. I do think Ben White is a decent signing for Arsenal, do not get me wrong. I do think they've needed a centre-back. But the money is just, it just baffles me a little bit. Obviously, they've signed Odegaard today. But in terms of Arsenal, I mean, that we're talking about it off camera just when you look. If someone genuinely asked me, and this is not me bantering or anything, if someone said, if you could have an Arsenal player, who would you choose? I would struggle to find a player that I actually wanted. Saka would probably be the only one who would be like, Saka. Maybe Smith Rowe, but Saka would be the one that would be go-to. If you look at us, I'm sure there'd be many, and even last season or the season before that, I'm sure Arsenal fans would look at United squad and think there's a few characters who, actually, I'd like to see Pogba there, or I'd like to see Greenwood or Rashford. Arsenal haven't got that. And as an Arsenal fan, I think you'd be a bit concerned that actually what direction are we going in, because they're the biggest spenders in this transfer window. And don't get me wrong, some of the signings that I don't know too much about, that might prove me wrong. But looking at it from the outside in, it's worrying, isn't it? Like they're top spenders and their squad quality is just poor.
On paper as well, some of the decisions they've made have been like strange. Like they've got Saliba there, who Arsenal fans, rate very highly, who's barely had any game time throughout his time at Arsenal. I think he's been there, 3 years now? Maybe 2. He's not had any game time, and he went and spent £50 million on a centre back anyway. And then the likes of Joe Willock, who was there. I mean, I'm not complaining about that, but he was their highest scoring midfielder last season. Even when he obviously wasn't at the club, and they went and spent a little bit more. I think, is it £30-odd million for Odegaard they've paid? They went and spent £10 more million on Odegaard, who only got 2 goals. Joe Willock got 8. And we've obviously signed him for 25 million. So their business, from a we don't know how that signing's going to work out. We really don't. But from a perspective, just in black and white, right there, it seems like very odd decisions that they're making. But we'll soon find out whether they'll work or not. I don't know. But they're in trouble, I think, if they don't sort themselves out soon.
Yeah, and the goalkeeper one as well. We've just signed Ramsdale. It was just announced just before we were live, and obviously they sold Martinez, who's for me a better keeper than Ramsdale. Just doesn't make sense, but I think it kind of sums up where they're at the minute, all a bit of a mess. We shall see what happens with the new signings. We'll see what happens against Chelsea. I think that could be a make or break for them in terms of the start of this season. Obviously, losing to Brentford, you'd think they've got to come out the blocks now. They've got to go at Chelsea. And it'd be interesting to see what happens in that one for sure. But another team who's in trouble from London, Spurs. Not necessarily in trouble, but obviously that conference, what is it, a conference league? What do you even call it? I don't know what you call it. Conference Europa, I don't know. That cup, what they were in, I didn't even know who they were playing. And it got to the point on Twitter where I wasn't even laughing that Spurs were losing. It's just kind of the norm now. Like I was just fully expecting that to happen. Like that's how bad it was. But Nat, in terms of Tottenham, they've got Wolves this weekend. Obviously, Nuno against his old team. That's going to be an interesting one as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets a good reception as well. I do really rate
He
Nuno.
will,
I think he's decent, really good manager. I think he'll come good for Spurs. Obviously, he made a load of changes for that Europa League and it just, didn't go right. I think they'll sort it out. the following leg. But it's not a good look, is it? I suppose when you coming in trying to win fans over and this and that. But I think they play really well versus City. I really like what they were doing there. I mean, I can see a Spurs win against Wolves. I think if they take that City form rather than the Europa League form, but then it's like Spurs. Which one's going to turn up? Is it going to be that one or is it going to be that City one? So I hope they don't underestimate, for Spurs fans' sake, I hope they don't underestimate Wolves, because I think they're still a really good side, great players there. They can cause. I mean, Wolves won't say it's an upset; they'll be sort of looking for them 3 points, but I do see a Spurs win there. Only just by 1 goal in it, maybe.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I do think Spurs will nick it. I think Wolves at the minute, obviously, they lost the Leicester first game. I'll be honest, I don't know much about their manager, and I think at the minute they're that surprise outfit where nobody really knows what to expect of Wolves. And I think the more that the season goes on, obviously we'll see their style of play, if it's changed since Nuno and whatnot. A question for Kendall: do you expect Newcastle to make any new signings? So do you think, obviously you mentioned Willock, but can you see any more coming in possibly?
Not at this current time, Steve.
Your face is just
Steve
not
Bruce is just very. He did another press conference today, and he said, I wasn't even expecting to get Joe Willock, so that shows you where we're at this point. No, I really don't. Even though we need them, we're literally going to be one of the only teams ever to name 4 goalkeepers in a 25-man squad. That's God's honest truth, because Dubravka's out injured, only until maybe about December. Cardalo's got long COVID, so he's not fit to come back yet, which leaves us to rely on Freddie Woodman, who, to be fair to him, despite the result, I thought he had a really good game on Sunday for his Premier League debut. So we need to name him, and then obviously we need to name a backup as well. So we're going to have to name 4 keepers in a 25-man squad.
Wow.
I just can't at this point, I really can't.
You just used to Newcastle fans. You just take it on the chin there. I love that. Normally we're having a complete meltdown. If that was us, we'd be having a meltdown. But Newcastle fans just take it on the chin.
Meltdowns have been in class, and I'm done at this point. I just let it be. I'm just like, John Lennon, let it be. Okay, go on.
Don't blame it. Do you know anything about that, by the way? Kanuna Kynan says, just read somewhere that a lot of Newcastle players are not vaccinated. That's extremely reckless of the players. If it's true. I haven't heard much about that. I don't know if you have, Kendall, from the Newcastle side of things.
I haven't heard anything about that. I have heard Steve Bruce say today that he thinks that pretty much everyone going into the ground and all the players should be doubly vaccinated by October. And he's he's very outspoken in people getting vaccinated. So maybe that's why. I don't know, but that would be strange if they weren't. Because from a professional point of view, that they would probably have to be if they were playing teams and stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one.
Well, it's bad because healthcare workers and stuff like that, they're all being insisted upon, isn't it, that you have to get the vaccine by a certain date, and if you don't, then obviously you can't be in that field. So it's an interesting one with footballers. I don't know where footballers stand with that, because obviously not everybody is for the vaccine. So
I think I've seen a few footballers who have been anti-vaxxers, so I don't know if that's sort of. I mean, I'm not. I'm double vaccinated, and I'm sort of on the Steve Bruce side, but. I think it's sort of maybe a personal choice, and maybe that's sort of like what you said, why it's just been reported in the Guardian, and like you said, you want to be playing all the time, so get your vaccine and keeping yourself potentially avoiding getting it in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, the vaccine isn't like everything, isn't it? It doesn't stop you from getting it and whatnot, but obviously it just protects you that little bit more. Apparently, Pulisic just tested positive for COVID, so he'll miss the Arsenal game. He was fully vaccinated. Pulisic hasn't really been playing much of late for Chelsea, has he, really? Havertz obviously is kind of been. Werner's been in there. Now Lukaku. I think it's interesting to see what's going to happen with Pulisic as well this season. He's a player that I'll rate really highly, and I hope we see a bit more of him in the Premier League, to be fair. Another player that's going to be out this weekend is Kevin De Bruyne from Man City. I've got Norwich this weekend. Surely they're still going to steamroll. I mean, I can't see anything other than a Man City winning that one, Kendall.
I honestly thought by now they would have signed a striker because of the week, last weekend. I thought they would have just gone. Would have saw that they got beat off top and thought, right, that's it, 150 million.
150 million.
And genuinely, that's what that's what they were going to do, but they haven't as of yet. But I still think they're going to come out and we saw it last season though. They had they struggled the first 2 months of the season last year, and they were 8th for a while. And obviously didn't really barely lose a game from that point onwards. So. Maybe they'll do the same. Spurs were the opposite. They had a really good start to last season and then dropped way off afterwards. So, I think they'll be fine. I can't really see anything other than a Norwich win. I know a Man City win. I mean,
it's happened before.
Well, maybe we've seen weirder things happen. But I think it'll be Man City. I can't really see anything else. And plus, Kevin De Bruyne is obviously in for Player of the Year, isn't he? Again, so
what's your thoughts on that? Do you think he should be up there? Both, yeah. Like, what's your thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne? Because there's a massive debate on Twitter all the time about Bruno and De Bruyne. I'm not one to sit here and compare. They're both absolute class players. Like, I think De Bruyne is an amazing player. Don't get it twisted. But a lot of people feel like he shouldn't be up there for like player of the year.
He shouldn't, or he should.
He shouldn't. A lot of people on Twitter feel he shouldn't.
I don't understand why you would think that. I think he's a quality player. I think
it's because he maybe they're injured. I think a lot of people think that.
But I think he was integral in them winning the league in a way. You know, so if you then look at, I think Bruno should be in the shout as well. And a bit, probably me being biased, I'd say Bruno ahead of him. But City won the league. They won trophies. So for me, he was integral to it. So you got to, if he wins it, fair play.
Yeah, so exactly. Obviously, the fact that he was injured, a lot of people. But when he was fit, let's be honest, the impact that he had on that team was ridiculous, and he's just an outstanding player, isn't he? But I don't really get the comparisons all the time. You see it in every, especially United fans are the worst for it. Like, they can't just rate two players separately; they have to compare players all the time. Just enjoy the player. I don't get it. But yeah, Sancho. Let's get on to him. Sancho for United, obviously came on last week. Only played was it about 12 minutes or something like that. Do you expect him to start this week, Nat? Because a lot of people think Dan James will be dropped out of the starting lineup and Sancho already been able to come in.
Listen, I think Dan James had a good game. I think he, I think everyone deserves to keep the place. Probably even, I know we're going to talk about Varane as well, potentially. Lindelof deserves to keep his place. But when you got a player like Sancho, Varane, these are the kind of players that we want to see in a team. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I'd definitely 100% start Sancho, and I'm just excited to see what he's going to do. I think we know he can create. We know he's going to, score goals. So I think with the team around him, Cavani back in training, it's all just happy days at United at the minute.
Yeah, I think with the Sancho situation as well, because he featured last week and he played the friendly against Burnley, he's obviously got a bit more minutes in the tank. I fully expect him. He's got more chance of starting this weekend than Varane has, in my opinion, because Varane obviously has only just come in. You mentioned, Kendall, that Lindelof played a really good game as well, first game of the season. So I think Lindelof will start, but I can see Varane maybe featuring and coming on at some point. But Sancho, I think, has got more chance of starting 100%. And I'd love to see that. I think Dan James, like you say, he did a decent job against Leeds, but his final product for me just isn't good enough. But the way he gets us up the pitch, the way he runs into space, that tackle he made 3 minutes in, absolutely love that. But I just think Sancho just brings us that edge going forward, that bit more class in that final third, and that's why I personally would rather have it. Curtis said there, Sancho to score. Kendall, what's your thoughts on Sancho? One, do you think is a good signing? And two, can you see him possibly making his first start for United this weekend?
I love Sancho. I think he's absolutely incredible. Obviously, the whole Sancho saga was going on for about a year and a half. If he was going to Man United or not.
Feels like more than that.
I was honestly like, thank God it's done, because I was sick of seeing it. It's close. It's nearly there. But what a signing. And for the price that he was, really, as well, obviously 70 odd million. I think it sounds like a lot of money, but realistically, I mean, Declan Rice and stuff, I know different positions, but he's valued like 80 plus. So to get a player of Sancho's quality and his age, because he's still really young, his experience at a high level is elite. He had a relatively decent summer, even though he didn't play as much as we probably wanted him to. But yeah, I love Sancho. And like Nat says, they're the players you want in your team. Like, no disrespect to the likes of Dan James and Lindelof, but when you're looking at a team sheet and you've got to pick your squad, you're going to want the names who are phenomenal players in there, like Sancho, like Varane, who've got the experience to do well. So yeah, I think he'll probably start. I was gutted he didn't start at the weekend, to be honest, but I guess he didn't really need him. So yeah, I think he'll probably start, and hopefully we'll see him light up the Premier League, because I would really want that from him, because I just rate him so highly as a player. I think he's just quality. Yeah, you're talking like Sancho, like I would compare to like St. Maximin for you. Like every time I see him play, I just want him to do something mad, because he's just that player. He just gets on the edge of the seat. And that's how you're talking about Sancho. It's always one player you can't help. Like, he's entertaining, isn't he? And I think Sancho will be our entertainer as well, hopefully. And it would be nice to see him start on Sunday, 100%. And guys, we're going to remind you as well, I am on Don Robbie's channel on Sunday. So come and head over there and join me for the live watch along, and hopefully be watching Sancho doing some skills. That would be nice, and scoring some goals. But we're going to Newcastle for you, Kendall. We're going to Newcastle. Obviously, you've got Villa this weekend. First game of the season was West Ham, I believe, and you lost 4-2. But you started the game really sharply. You started the game well. Where do you see yourselves, especially if you don't make any more signings like this season? Where do you expect you'll finish? Willock, I think, is a very good signing, and we'll get that in there. I think he's a very good signing for you, but I think keeping players fit is a big one for you as well. Massively, because our squad depth is so bad. There isn't any squad depth, if I'm honest. we started the game off so well, and I was really happy because last season, all we wanted, we knew we had the attacking options there, and all we wanted when everybody was fit to play like that. And I was so glad. And I think as a neutral, that game would have been great to watch, but not for us, obviously. But that game as a neutral would have been great to watch. And to be fair, I enjoyed the first half. I thought, you know what, there's not really much I would change here, if I'm honest. I wasn't happy with the three at the back situation. I know we play 5 at the back, 3 or 5, however you want to put it. But the choice of centre backs, I wasn't happy with. Our captain was on the bench, Lascelles and Shah, people like that. I would have had them in over who was on, but the penalty changed the game for me. And I think every single person that I've ever spoke to, apart from Martin Bloody Atkinson, has said that it wasn't a penalty. But you know, you can't do that. And once that happened, we were chasing the game after that point. It just went downhill. And the problem is when we've got our start 11 and we don't have anyone to bring on who's gonna change the game, and that's where we're gonna lack throughout the season. Like the likes of you guys, of Chelsea, of Man City. I know we're not anywhere near your guys' level at any point at this time now, but even teams around us like Aston Villa or people like that have got players, impact players that they can bring on and change the game, and we don't have that currently. So that's where we're gonna struggle. I'm just hoping that Aston Villa are still figuring it out, because obviously they were so reliant on Jack Grealish, and they've signed 3 players to do Jack Grealish's job. So I hope that they're still figuring it out. They don't know, they haven't gelled together well because they didn't play well at the weekend. I know they came back to Watford, but yeah, I'm just hoping that they haven't, fixed it up. But it is away, so I'm kind of not really looking forward to it, to be honest. I'm just hoping that we start the game well, like we did at the weekend.
Yeah. You know what's bad? Last year, obviously, because fans were in the game. But the year before that, I was in the Newcastle end at the Villa game, because one of my best friends is a Newcastle fan, and he was like, "Oh, we've got tickets. Would you like to come on?" I went for the experience, and the Newcastle fans are class, by the way. But I remember just going for the experience, and it's just mad that fixture's come back around already. Like, it seems mad because of lockdown and stuff like that. Crazy.
We were all about the summer, like the Euros and everything, and I was like, oh, we've got like a long summer, loads of things happening, the Olympics, the Euros, and it's honestly, the season's come round so quickly. Mad.
But Steve Bruce is still there. Who would have thought it? Kendall? Wow. We were having not wages, but we were having a debate saying, who do we think the first manager will be to get sacked? Steve Bruce was. I've got to be honest. Steve Bruce was up there as one of my votes, because I felt if you didn't invest and don't keep certain players fit, I think he could be in trouble. I mean, do you agree with that, or is there any other manager that stands out for you in terms of getting the sack?
No,
early?
He's definitely up there for me. Just based on things, I don't know who's going to struggle this year, because I honestly feel like it's probably going to be the promoted teams who do okay this year. I think like the likes of Wolves may be in trouble because they haven't really invested heavily in their squad, didn't have a great end to the season last year. I think the likes of Crystal Palace might struggle under Vieira. And
it's a good shout as well,
because exactly. Southampton haven't started off too well, so there's a couple of teams I think who could be in trouble this year. It's not just going to be the promoted teams for once. So
I do think everyone loves Maximin, to be fair. His tweets are even funnier as well. It just seems like a funny guy.
He calls himself the Twitter king.
He just makes me laugh. I said one, I'm a secret Wolves fan, and now a Newcastle fan as well. Now I'm just a football fan. I'm going to say I like to go to different grounds and whatnot. That was the first time I'd ever been to Villa Park as well, so I just appreciated being invited to go, to be fair. But it was I remember it being a really poor game.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot to cheer about, especially for Newcastle fans, to be fair. But obviously this weekend there's a lot of fixtures, and what we're going to do now, we're going to reel off what we believe the score will be in each of the games, and everyone in the chat obviously get involved as well. Let us know. Have you two got Fantasy League, by the way? Fantasy Premier League? Are you doing that?
I'm not that good at it. I won't keep up to date with it.
Premier League one, and then I've got one on Fan Team as well, where you can like win money. I never do that great. I mean, to be fair, the weekend I did all right, like in terms of I got like 75 points, which was like good for me. But then other people were getting like 120 because they triple captain Bruno. And I was like,
I did that.
I hate people who know how to play it because I don't. So
I don't know how to play it. I'll be honest. I was just pressing buttons. And it's like, triple captain. I was like, I'll leave that on. And I didn't even realise till like 2 days later, Bruno got a hat trick. That means I got mad points because he was double whatever it was.
Honestly, I can't do it, so I get proper angry when people know how to do it. I'm like, why don't I know that?
I normally look at it.
That's why I don't play it, Kendall. I don't play it because I'll start off really well and I'll be into it, and then Christmas will come and it'll all fizzle out. Life will just get in the
3
way.
weeks in, and then after that, I just forget to even look.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
times
Get
with
to
the
me,
app, to be
so
fair.
it's like, oh, I hate all that, honestly.
Yeah.
But some people are proper on it. Like Doug, to be fair,
Yeah.
up to Doug. Doug is proper on it. Doug will back me up on this one. I'm one of them people who just drifts like during the. And Doug used to actually message me just like check your team, because I just forget to look at it. I've been playing players who've been injured for 6 months just in my. Do you know what I mean? I just don't check it. So that's why I'm pretty hopeless at it. But it's all good fun and it's all good fun.
Yeah.
But in terms of the pictures, obviously I'll reel them off and let me know what you girls think the score's going to be. And the first one, I'm going to start with Liverpool against Burnley. You all know my thoughts on Burnley. I call them the team of blockers because that's all they seem to do. One of the most frustrating teams you can play against, I think, in the league. I remember, I don't know if you were at Old Trafford that time when Pope had that absolute worldie goal.
Yeah.
And there was Tom and Heaton did as well, to be fair. We
Yeah.
just couldn't score. And we always seem to have that kind of frustrating game against Burnley. But yeah, Liverpool are at home in this one. So we've got AB there, so it's going to be 1-0 to Liverpool. Kendall, what's your thoughts on that one?
I think 2-0 Liverpool. They looked quite strong at the weekend. Again, I know it was only against Norwich, but as you say, though, Burnley are quite hard to play against. But then again, with the likes of Van Dijk and stuff back, I think Liverpool are probably defensively hard to play against as well. So yeah, 2-0 Liverpool for me.
2-0. Nat, what's your score prediction for that one?
I've got 3-1. 3-1 Burnley. 3-1 Burnley. I'm blue already. 3-1 Liverpool. I mean, I wish it was 3-1 Burnley, but no, I'm with Kendall. I think Liverpool are going to blow them away. I think Burnley will get a goal, maybe at 1-1, but then Liverpool just come out and blow them away, unfortunately. Yeah,
I've gone the same with James. I've said 3-0 to Liverpool. I don't know. It's Burnley. They're not really a goal scoring team as such, are they? Normally they might get the odd lucky goal where it's off set piece or something like that, or they just, I don't know, shoulder barge the ball into the net or something. Like, it's always a scruffy goal with Burnley.
Everyone's
so
just
I don't know.
To get relegated this year. They're like, I'm sick of Burnley.
I've wanted that for so many years, honestly. Turf 4, man, I just hate it. But yeah, 3-0 Liverpool. I'm going to agree with that one. Next one, it's your team, Kendall, Newcastle. Obviously, you're away at Aston Villa. I'll let you start with this one. How are you feeling going into that?
We played quite well at the weekend, but again, I don't know. I'm just not I'm not confident we're going to win away. So I'll say 1-1.
1-1. Who's going to score for you?
I want to back us, but I also want to be realistic. I don't want to call 2-1 because every time we lose, and I think we're going to win. So
would you be happy? Like,
it could go either way. 1-1's fine. I mean, it's a point on the table at this point, so that's what we need.
You haven't got anything. Yeah, fair enough. So to be fair, James has also said a 1-1 there as well. I'm Blue said a 1-1. Nat, are you going with a draw on this one as well?
Yeah, I'm saying a 2-2. I know Kendall, you said about Newcastle and what happened at the weekend, but I was quite impressed with you guys. You went 2-0. I know eventually it didn't go right, but if you keep that energy, that first half energy, anything can happen, I think.
Oh, we pray.
Yeah.
Doug said, Kendall, are you looking forward to the Champions League draw on Thursday, obviously, in regards to Atletico?
Yeah. Yes, I am, because I'm quite looking forward to the whole, because Newcastle do just awful at the minute. I mean, I've said we didn't do too badly at the weekend, like you saying that, but yeah, obviously Atleti champions, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but we always get a hard draw anyway, so that might not end well either.
We shall see. I'm looking forward to it, to be fair. I'm just looking forward to being back in the Champions League. I don't know you, Nat, but I'll miss Champions League football. I'm buzzing that as well. Next one, I find this one quite hard to call, and it's Palace against Brentford. Palace at home. Like you said earlier, Kendall, with Vieira being in charge, I don't really know what to expect of Palace at the minute. They had a decent start, I think, but yeah, I don't know. And Brentford obviously had a great start against Arsenal, but it was against Arsenal, so how do you judge that one? Yeah, Nat, I'll let you start on this one. What's your score prediction for that one?
I've gone 2-1 to Brentford just because of the whole Arsenal thing. But I do think Palace, I don't know, when they're at home, that home crowd, well, when I've been there, it's just another level. So maybe they'll push them on. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford. I think a few people are saying that. Oh,
4-0. 4-0. That would be class. I like to see Brentford doing well, coming up to the big time for the first time. Like, I was buzzing for them against Arsenal. Obviously, I don't want them to beat us, but other than that, I've got to be honest, I have a bit of a soft spot for them. They were well and truly stung by the bees. I know a few people have said. Kendall, what do you think about Brentford? How they're going to get on in this one against Palace?
Yeah, 2-1 was my prediction as well, because I think Brentford did really, really well, obviously, because they were at home their first game. Arsenal haven't came out the blocks too great, but yeah, Crystal Palace at home, they're going to have to figure something out because of their defeat last weekend as well. So, yeah. 2-1 Brentford, I think. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight one. I've said the same as you guys. I've said 2-1 to Brentford. That's what I've gone for. I think they'll just nip it. But But I do think it'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining of games as well. Which I hope I'm wrong on that one, but I'm not expecting it. And that's not one I'm looking forward to on Match of the Day anyway. Let's put it that way. Leeds against Everton. Everton with a disappointing start to the season. Leeds obviously getting absolutely battered by us. I fully expect Leeds to be better this week, and I think this is going to be a tight game. Kendall, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I just want, because it's Rafa Benitez, it's like a weird thing. I want him to just not do well because I'm jealous. It's like a total grudge. I'm like, oh, please fail. But no, I think because Rafa plays defensive and obviously such a low block football, I think Leeds will just take advantage of that on the counter totally. Everton are going to have to be really cohesive as a defensive unit to counteract that. So I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds.
Oh, okay. 2-0 to Leeds. Nat, what's your prediction on this one? This one's really mixed in the chat.
Yeah. I mean, I think Everton, obviously, didn't start well, but I still think Leeds, I don't know. I think, they'll be at home, so I do see a lot of goals. I see it being 3-2 Everton, though. I just think Everton, they need to... they've got good players there, Calvert-Lewin, I think they'll come good. Yeah. So I'm going to go 3-2 to Everton. I just don't like Leeds as well. So that's probably why I went through
Man United fans don't like Leeds, do they, very much?
No, not at all. No. 1-1 to Doug. I think that's what I've gone for. 1-1. I think it's going to be a tight one between the two. If I had to choose a team who I think is going to win it, I'd probably edge towards Leeds just because they're a very attacking team.
That's obviously the hardest game of the weekend to predict because we've all gone completely different.
Yeah, yeah, it's right. Yeah, could go either way, couldn't it? Literally could go either way. The next one I think is not going to be as mixed. City against Norwich. I think we're all pretty unanimous on that one, but the thing is, how many goals are they going to score? Basically, how many goals is City going to put in against Norwich? Nat, what's your thoughts on that one?
3-0 City. I mean, they could go and get 6 and this and that, but I just think 3-0. I still think they need that striker. I'm like Kendall. I'm surprised they didn't go out and slap the money down. I mean, I'm hearing now about Lewandowski, and he got asked about it. I mean, that they probably put 150 down for him. Definitely get him, wouldn't they?
If they get Lever, I'll just cry.
I would cry. I love.
But to be fair, he's getting his age. He's
getting on, so they might not. I mean, I think they'll want Kane, but it doesn't look like that's going anywhere really.
I still think Kane will go. I still think he'll go. James said 4-0. Zoe said 2-0. Norwich 1-0 from Curlers. Curlers put a bet on it. I hope you're right. I really do. Ashley said Norwich 1-0 and then part of the bus. I love that. I hope it's right. Kendall, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I said 3-0 as well. I just think Pep's the type of person, that defeat will have not sat well with him at the weekend, especially because it was only one. So, it's not going to have sat well with him. He's going to go all guns blazing this week and go out just to win, no matter who it is. I said, after the defeat against Tottenham, I would not like to be the person who plays Man City next because that is going to be absolutely dangerous. Yeah. And unfortunately for Norwich, it's them. But, yeah, I think 3-0 City.
3-0. I've gone 4-0 City. Again, I think that City are going to absolutely batter them, to be fair. But I hope I'm wrong. Brighton against Watford. Again, not one that I'm really looking forward to in terms of match of the day. For that one, I'll start on this one. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Brighton 1, Watford 1. Obviously, Brighton are at home. Kendall, you're nodding. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 1-1 as well. I think, Graham Potter was getting all, revered last year. He was like, oh, Graham Potter plays really nice football. But, it didn't really get them very far. I'm going to be honest. It really didn't.
They did start, though. To be fair, they did at the start. I remember people saying, Harry Potter ball and that, saying he's, magic and stuff. But, yeah, he did kind of drift, didn't he? To be fair.
Yeah, totally so. Yeah. And Watford did okay at the weekend. Against Villa, so 1-1.
1-1, Nat?
Yeah, I've gone for a draw as well. I've just gone for high scoring draw, so I think 2-2. I like to see goals. I don't think it's going to be boring. I want to see goals.
I never predict a 0-0, mate. I never predict a 0-0. I always think
it's wishful thinking, isn't it? Yeah. We just want to see a goal, at least one. I agree with that. I do think Watford looked pretty decent, to be fair, last week. They surprised me coming up. I don't know if any of you watch the Cycling GK, obviously Ben Foster's little YouTube videos. If you don't, I'd recommend it. But basically, he has a GoPro in the goal, and it's just class. I would recommend it anyway. And that's why I've got a bit of a. I used to hate Watford, but since been watching that, you get to see a different side to it. And it's pretty cool. I think it's a good idea. Obviously, next one, United, Southampton away to Southampton away. Manchester United away to Southampton. We've already kind of hinted at how we think this one's going to go, but Nat, I'll start with you as a United fan. What's your score?
3-0, 3-0 Man United. I know, we did concede against Leeds, but I just think it's going to be go out there, get some goals, go home. Thanks for coming. 3 points. Let's set the stall out.
I would love that. I would love that.
I don't see that.
I would love that even more.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be
see that
another 9. That'd be amazing.
Imagine.
Oh, imagine. Away from home as
We
well.
still have to go.
You know what?
Yeah.
I really want them to get pammed because they did a tweet during the Euros. I think we played Denmark, and Southampton put a weird, odd tweet out being like,
We're sure on it.
Yeah, with Luke Shaw, and they were like, "Oh, good luck, whoever we were playing was a Vestergaard. Good luck, Vestergaard." I was like, "What the absolute hell are you on about?"
I saw that.
I literally tweeted at the time. I was like, "Oh, I beg you, get beat 9-0 again." Like, I would love that. So please, if it's going to be anyone, it will be you guys. So please do that. That'd be amazing.
That's some record for Harsson Hootel to hold as well if he concedes 9 again. Like, hey, what manager withstands that? That's crazy. So we've got 2-0 there. We've got 4-1, 3-1. A lot of United wins in there. 4. Ashley obviously said the 7. Kamal's also gone with 9. 5. 3-1 to United there. Another 7 there, another 9 there. A lot of high scores. But yeah, I think, like Nat said, I think we're going to score a few goals. I'm hoping that we don't concede. That would be nice. But I mean, Kendall, what's your thoughts on this? Can you see us absolutely battering them like in the chat, like many people are saying?
I can, but then there's also that little element of like award prowls, like wonder moment. Like, do you know what I mean? Like just from a free kick, like if you concede in front of the box, concede a foul, that's going to be where it comes from, isn't it? So yeah, I think I agree. 3-0, 3-1, anything like that, I think is a definitely win by at least a couple of goals. But as I said, there's normally that little James Ward-Prowse wonder moment that defeats a lot of teams. But 3-1, I think I'll go 3-1 for you guys. That's
actually the same as what I've gone for. Obviously, I'd love an optimistic clean sheet and us to bag 5, 6, 7. That would be very nice. But I think 3-1, that's what I've gone for. It's always just a bit of a tighter game. Apart from that 9-0, when we're playing against Southampton, especially away, it's always one of them games where it's just a bit of a dodgy one, I always think. And I know we've had a lot of success there, but a lot of time we have had to come up from behind or it's been like a tight game, hasn't it? So, yeah, a 3-1 for me. Wolves against Spurs, Nuno, obviously against his old team. Kendall, what's your thoughts on that one?
See, the thing is, a lot of the players, because they haven't really added to their squad or changed their system or anything that much, a lot of the players will probably know how Nuno's going to attack this game because he's had relatively similar tactics and like a mindset throughout the last couple of seasons. Obviously, I know they're going to play for their new manager and whatever he's decided them to do, but they dictate the game really throughout. So, yeah, I think they're going to hold it. I think it's not going to be a great game, I don't think. 1-1 for me. Yeah,
1-1. Nat, what's your thoughts on the Spurs-Wolves game?
I've said 2-1 Spurs. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I just think, Spurs do start off really well. They've had a good start, bar the conference thing. But yeah, I just think 2-1 Spurs.
The conference thing. We don't even know what it's called on the conference thing, something like that. I believe. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Super conference thing? No,
something like that.
I'm getting the Super League mixed up with the conference.
Why did they call it conference? That makes me think of like lower league football. Then it's Europa conference.
It's the conference of the football.
European
football. Like, it wasn't even on TV. Like no TV channel wanted the rights to the Conference League. No one wanted the rights.
3 o'clock kickoffs or something.
Absolute mad.
Like literally kicking off during the school run.
Where there's like a train station, like that, a train track running.
Yeah. Mad. Literally in the school run, having to watch. It's mad. I'm Blue. Thank you for the super chats. Even Southampton knew that England didn't deserve to win against Denmark. I'm Blue was raging, especially close. I hope you're over it now, I'm Blue, but he was absolutely raging at that whole Denmark-England game. We're trying to calm him down in the chat, weren't we? But a lot of people did.
We won, but we didn't. Like we didn't win the Euros, so you're right.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't win. Yeah, as usual, we didn't win. I've actually gone with a 1-1 for Wolves Spurs as well. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Next one, Arsenal against Chelsea, the big one. Mentioned Lukaku coming back as well. Some people believe that Arsenal could do something here because of it being a derby, because of the fact they lost to Brentford. You mentioned about Man City losing their first game, they've got to bounce back. A lot of people think Arsenal need to do that as well. Nat, can you see an Arsenal bounce back, or do you think Chelsea are going to be too strong for them?
Chelsea are going to be too strong. And like I said, I can see Lukaku maybe getting a brace. I can see it being 3-0 Chelsea. I mean, I know we're talking about managers that might get the sack. And I think, to be honest, Arteta's on the verge. I think there's a lot of, I don't know what's going on. You know, there's talk like the two strikers, they had COVID, but then other people have had it and then they're playing. It's strange how they've just put, I don't know what it is. I'm hearing ex-players coming out again, not against him, but just really questioning him. Like we said about the signings, it just seems a bit all over the place. I don't know what, it's like something needs to change there. And then obviously the first place where everyone looks, whether it's right or wrong, is the manager. And yeah, I can see Chelsea and Lukaku, to be honest, probably running right there. I know Chelsea fans might see Zoe saying 1-1 and they're not confident, but just from my point of view, I can only see a Chelsea win.
Chelsea seems to get stronger and stronger, don't they, as well? Kaduna Kind, thank you for the super chat. Says, what was it like for Kendall chatting with United great Keno and Manu often picked fights with Anna Shearer? Any hard feelings? Congratulations to you, by the way, for getting an opportunity. I thought you represented Newcastle really well. I did watch that video. You didn't get as heated as Toy, let's say, but no, you came across really, really well. But yeah, what was it like to speak to the likes of Carragher and Keane? And Neville,
they were really, really nice. And in general, like, I thought the vibe of it all was really good. Like the layout and the setup of it all was absolutely brilliant. And to be fair, walking actually into hotel football, I bumped into Roy Keane getting out of the taxi because I was like coming around the corner and he was getting out of the taxi round the corner.
Fangirling, like
literally walked straight in and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, because I just was like, sorry. Then I realised it was Roy Keane and I was like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. And then we got inside and I mentioned it and he was like, oh, is that you? And I said, yeah. But I had a jacket on at the time and he was like, if I'd seen you were wearing that shirt, it would have been handbags because I had a Shearer shirt on. But no, he was lovely. He was really good. And to be fair to Roy, I must admit, he was the only one that stayed at the end to get pictures of everyone. All the
oh really
content creators. He was there. Yeah, Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, all went off, but he stayed and spoke to fans for quite a long length of time afterwards. So yeah, it was nice.
That's good to be fair. Yeah, good egg. I would love to meet Roy Keane. Love it. I know it's controversial, but I could listen to him for hours. I mean, that video, I just wanted to keep asking him questions. He just sounded really intriguing. Doug, thank you so much for that super chat. He said, who is one team in the Champions League you would like to avoid and one team you would like in your group? For me, I would like to avoid Atletico, and one team I would like to get is Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg, I wouldn't mind getting.
Not like to get PSG at this point.
PSG, avoid, yeah, I was about to say, avoid that. Yeah.
Bayern as well, because normally we struggle against them. Just the typical teams, really. I would really not like to get any team that presses consistently. So maybe not even like Man United, for example, because that would be I think we would struggle with that maybe. So yeah, any of them really.
You know what? I know it's cliche to say it. We have to be the best to win it, don't you? So it's one of them. It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, you had the group of death last season, and that didn't turn out the way most people expected it to. That was in the Euros, and that was a mad one, wasn't it? Nobody expected Hungary to do as well as they did do.
No.
To be fair, you never know, especially in cup competitions. You never know. I think you have to be the best to win it. And I know it's cliche, but it's true. But I wouldn't like to play against PSG, that's for sure. But if you have to, you have to. Yeah. We've had good times against PSG. Let's not forget that. We've had good times. But last game for a prediction. I'd like to say best till last. It probably isn't, but I think it'd be a decent one. This one, West Ham against Leicester. Leicester winning start to the season. So West Ham. Obviously, Vardy was doing his Wolf hell, wasn't he? His celebration, so he's going to be feeling confident going into that one.
He did the eagle against Palace last season or whatever. The Wolf against Wolves now, man. He's serious. I love him, but not when he's playing against us. I hate him, but I love him any other time.
Doug's got me for 2-2 draw on that one.
Yeah, I went 2-2 as well, actually.
I've gone for a 2-2 as well. I've actually gone for a 2-2 draw. Have you got 2-2 as well? Full house. Yeah. You actually settled on one then. We've got one where we've actually all come up with the same. Yeah, I think both teams will score in that one. I think that could be quite an entertaining game, to be fair. You mentioned obviously Vardy is just too good, isn't he? But Leicester are really entertaining to watch. And I think West Ham seems to get better and better. The likes of Sufal and Souček coming in really strengthened them last season, I think. So yeah, I mean, 3-3 draw there, 2-2 draw there, a 0-0 there. Hopefully not, Oliver. No. Hopefully not. United 4, Southampton 1 on that one. Leicester 4-0. West Ham 1-1. 2-1 to West Ham. 3-2 to Leicester. And then I should say hometown Leicester 3, West Ham 0 against Squibble. A lot of goals. I do expect there to be a few goals in that one. Big up to David too. I hope you're doing well as well. And Shivan says it with the game of the weekend. I think that's going to be probably one of the better ones. Like, I look forward to seeing that on Match of the Day. Hopefully we'll get some goals. But girls, it's been an absolutely fantastic show. Thank you so much for joining me yet again on Ladies in Red. I'll start with you, Kendall. Do you want to shout out where people can find you on socials and give you a follow as well?
Yeah, if you want to just, obviously it's here. Oh, I got the right side this time. I'm so glad.
First time.
I'm always like this. Yeah, if you just want to follow me at Kendall Rowan, that's all my socials, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously as well, if you go and check the Football Terrace out on YouTube, then I'm usually on there pretty much most days. So yeah.
That art that they've had, by the way, in the studio is class. I did like the tweet earlier.
Honestly amazing. Like, I felt like, you know, when they get a little bit of a lump in your throat, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, you know what, that's so sick. I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. It
is class. Really, really nice touch. And obviously we've got Nat. Nat, let people know where they can find you. Yeah. As always, repping the Barmy Army yesterday on Scotland, and back bless you. Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and point because I always get it wrong. But yeah, Natalie _17, as you can see on the screen. And yeah, follow us guys. We're on YouTube on All for United WFC. So that's a Man United Women channel, basically talking about women's football, all of it. And obviously we went to Rangers and we beat them, and I'm excited for the WSL season to kick off.
As am I. And that will definitely have to meet up at the games and do some content as well when I'm available to get up there. But yeah, girls, absolutely fantastic show. Make sure you follow both these, both fantastic at what they do. Hopefully, Kendall will be smiling come the end of this weekend as well, and Newcastle actually get a win on the board. That would be nice. Hopefully, me and Nat are smiling because we scored 9 goals against Southampton again. That would be nice as well. Yeah. But guys, whatever happens, stay positive, enjoy your weekend. Obviously, if you are new, please see that sub button on Ladies in Red. Hit a like on the video as well. And we have missed your comments. We don't do it on purpose. Just put a comment afterwards and I'll always read back and double check there as well. But until next time, guys, look after yourselves. See you soon.